Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you for coming to watch. So, I've got guys an update on a very impactful system that's really going to get going as we get into this upcoming week here. We got to talk about some very, very significant ice accumulations and a lot of heavy rainfall in the deep south. I also want to give you guys an update on what exactly is going to be happening just going forward because we've just been in a stretch of many, many storm systems, and we still have good chunk of January left to cover. All right, so we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about what's ever happening weather-wise across the country as usual. All right, so take a look here at your radar. You can see we've got nothing much going on, although we do have a storm system. This is coming into the western U.S. This is actually kind of the start of what's going to be generating that bigger system in the deep south. We're going to see that moisture come up from the Gulf of Mexico, but I think that the energy portion of the system is really going to be all from what you can see in the west coast. We've got a lot of rainfall moving over the Sacramento area as we speak. A lot of rainfall impacting California. All right, we're not going to be talking about that today. All right, but maybe tomorrow. Depends on my schedule. So, we'll see about that. And then in the Northeast, you can also see that we do have some snow flurries going around here. All right, and areas along the Great Lakes here are actually still dealing with that lake effect snow. You can see in upstate New York, we still got a few bands of lake effect snow coming. It's just been, relentless. It's just been over and over and over again. Just like at this point, it's been like 3 days straight of significant lake effect snow. That will continue throughout tonight, and some areas may end up with a few inches more than what we have on the ground. All right, so we'll move on here to our alerts, and you can see we're not as active as we were just a few days ago, but we still have got some significant alerts left, and we can see in the eastern half of the United States. We'll start out here in the Midwest. We've got what is this? A wind chill advisory. All right. Okay, and then this is going out for portions of Wisconsin through southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois, portions of Iowa, extreme northern Missouri. Only those like counties that are right up towards the border of Missouri and Iowa. All right. I don't know if I said Iowa. I meant Iowa. Under here, this wind chill advisory. And then if you go down to the deep south, you can see that we right up near Tennessee we have those wind chill advisories. Again, this is going into portions of Kentucky, along West Virginia and Virginia. We've got areas of northeastern Arkansas that are currently under wind chill advisory. Same thing for southern portions of South Carolina, and then northwest and southeastern Georgia, so two different regions. But in this purple shade, this is where I'm more concerned about dangerous conditions. This is where we have hard freeze warnings. These have been up for over 24 hours now. We've been dealing with some very, very cold temperatures. I wouldn't say historic cold. All right, but yeah, this is definitely going to cause some big problems. It already has. So basically, what this means is that any surfaces that are out there, that it's water or it's snow or it's already ice. All right, any of those surfaces will all freeze over. All right, and so if you have snow on those roadways, which some people may have due to past snowstorms, but that's probably farther north. But yeah, if you have any rainwater on the ground, also with that upcoming system, I do think that a lot of that is going to be freezing, and there's a chance for some accidents on those roadways. And so just please avoid travel as much as possible. And if you do need to take on those roadways, please take it very slow. But if you go into northern Florida, southern Georgia, the Mississippi, Alabama, northern and central portions of Louisiana, and then extreme eastern Texas, that's the entire area that is under this hard freeze warning. That's a pretty significant. I think that might actually be the most significant alert for any type of freeze. All right, so yeah, that's definitely probably the most significant alert that we've got. In the western United States, wintry weather has been slowing down. You can see in the Pacific Northwest, you got a few lingering winter weather advisories, winter storm warnings in portions of northwestern Montana. But if you go into California, obviously the Sierras, the mountainous regions are under winter storm warnings. But on the coastline, we actually have a few flood watches, and we do have flood warnings, all right, going out for the coast. So you saw that very heavy rainfall on that radar. All right, that's definitely something that you've got to pay attention to. And I'm not sure if this is what I think it is, but I think we have an avalanche watch that just got issued for one county in Northern California. All right, let's click over here. You can see. All right, yep, we have. Looks like we have no. That's actually a wind advisory. So I apologize about that. We've got a wind advisory near Medford, Oregon. All right, right by the border of Oregon and California. But anyways, yeah, that's pretty much all we've got going on. And so we move on here. We're going to be breaking down, where I'm going to be breaking down these temperatures here that we're dealing with region by region. Because of this Arctic blast is just so significant, and it's the second round that we're in. We're going to be pulling out of it by tomorrow. But you can see we're taking a look at the Ohio Valley into the Tennessee Valley, that area here. Look at these temperatures, guys. These are not real fuels, all right. But these are temperatures, and I mean, if you are to the northwest of areas near Tennessee, Kentucky, Ohio, that just general area, you're probably in the single digits right now. If you're into um, southern and central portions of Iowa, look at this. You're about 1 to 3 degrees. All right, that's very very cold, and we can see that similar temperatures stretching down into northern Missouri. We'll take a look at St. Louis. St. Louis right now seems to be at around 13 degrees. That is incredible how cold this is. All right. And you can see even getting into southern sections of Missouri, still about 14, 15 degrees. Boot Hill, Missouri, a little bit warmer, about 17 degrees. But the rest of the Ohio Valley into central Illinois through portions of Indiana, we're still in the teens. And that's going to be the case for pretty much all of us, unless you're down towards the deep south or if you're in the Carolinas. And you can see even into portions of Arkansas, into northern Mississippi, Alabama, northwestern Georgia, we're all in the low 20s, and some of us will be getting down into the teens. That's why we have those hard freeze warnings. But if you're into Tennessee, guys, I mean, it's very cold. Everybody's right around 15 degrees. Kentucky, though, it's trying to get down to the single digits there. The mountains of West Virginia are very very cold right now, about 10 degrees out there. It's crazy how some of these areas that are on your screen right now aren't usually that cold during the winter, especially down here in the deep south. All right, but it's just incredible, these numbers that I'm just reading off, and everybody is experiencing similar cold. But if you're in Iowa, guys, some of us are below zero, but for our current temperatures, not our real feels. So if you put wind and extreme cold together, you just get very very dangerous conditions. And so we put this forward, we put this in motion. All right. And you can see, we get to Sunday, which this is tomorrow. All right. Middle of the night, just after right around, this is looks like right around 3 in the morning tonight, you are going to everybody out here into Iowa is going to get down below 0 degrees. I think it's possible into the mountains of North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, all the way down through Illinois, Indiana, Tennessee, and Kentucky. It's definitely a lot less possible, but you're still going to be in the single digits. It's crazy, guys. And then we see these freezing temperatures reach to the Gulf Coast. We can see now all of Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, we're in the 20s and teens. Same thing for Arkansas. Some portions of Arkansas up towards the Boot Hill, Missouri, 13 degrees. That is crazy. And we're talking about Arkansas weather, guys. All right, usually you guys are worrying about severe weather right now. I don't think that's going to be the case tonight. All right, but getting to like the rest of Sunday. Let me refresh my screen here. All right, and then by Sunday here, we have temperatures getting down well below 0 degrees into northern Illinois. So now we're seeing more widespread below zero cold getting all the way down. I mean, everybody at this point, guys, I would say tomorrow, if you're waking up at around 9 a.m. tomorrow, which I know a lot of you guys will be, you're probably going to be waking up to single digits to the teens for your temperatures out there. If you're in the Ohio Valley, it's crazy. This entire general area is going to be experiencing temperatures in the teens and then into the single digits, and then some of us will be getting down below 0 degrees. All right. So taking this out to the rest of Sunday, you can see we finally see that cold start to retreat. We don't see anything as significant, but still we're hanging on to those 20s and those teens, pretty much everybody. But Deep south is slowly starting to warm back up. We're getting a little bit above freezing, and then we can see with our storm coming in, we will return to that warmth. All right. So we look in the northeast, that cold air. It's pretty similar to the Northeast. If you're in upstate New York, if you're in the interior Northeast, but if you're in the upstate regions here of whatever state you're in, I don't know if that made sense, but you're in the single digits right now. If you're on the coastline, you're in the 20s. I went sledding today. I posted a video about that earlier. All right, so probably you guys probably know that. It was so cold. Oh my gosh, and it was so windy too. It's very windy out here, so I am surprised that there haven't been any wind chill advisories in this area. At least I would personally just issue a wind chill advisory. All right, but it's crazy how cold it is out here, and it's not even anything that we haven't experienced. The coldest temperature I've felt is I think 5 degrees, or it might have been 7 degrees. I'm not sure. All right, but yeah, we're in the 20s along the coastline. If you're in the interior Northeast, you're in the teens or the single digits. Now, what about tomorrow? Well, we go through the rest of tonight. You can see that polar vortex. It's starting to reach down into areas of northern portions of the Northeast. So I don't think we're gonna. I don't see anybody getting down below 0 degrees here, but we're gonna get very close. If you're in well upstate New York, not off to the west, but rather just literally just northern New York State, that's the spot that may see 0 degrees. It's possible. All right. But yeah, that cold air is going to start to, it's going to start to leave us by tomorrow, and then getting into the rest of tomorrow, we can see that above freezing temperatures slowly start to climb back into our region. But we see the cold persist getting into the night, so the nighttime hours when the sun goes down, we're probably going to be in the similar temperatures in the 20s again for the coastline, and then the teens and the single digits for the interior Northeast. All right. So yeah, that's gonna be the pattern we're in for a few days, and then it looks like I think that I've been looking at a strong signal for this polar vortex just snap, all right, or this polar vortex just intensity here for the United States. I think that's going to come to an end, and I think we're going to start to see some more ridging start to come into play as we finish off January. All right, so we now look at the north central United States. This is our toughest customer here, guys. I mean, just looking at the cold, it's you guys always have to see the coldest temperatures because you guys always get hit on the front side of that polar vortex. Well, everybody does, but you guys get hit directly, and you guys get hit first. Excuse me. All right, so you can see we're in the single digits, everybody, right around 0 degrees. But if you're in the Dakotas, if you're in Iowa, you're a few degrees below zero. Now tonight, well, that's going to get dangerously cold. Tonight, by 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, this is 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, it's negative 11 degrees out there into east central Iowa. That's far more than life threatening, guys. And this is these are similar temperatures getting into northern Illinois, southwestern sections of Wisconsin, and then portions of southeastern Minnesota. It's crazy how cold it's going to be out there, guys. And we see these single digits just continue to be pumped into this region. And then as we get to tomorrow night, we'll start to see a little bit more of that warmth because our system is coming up. And actually, if you are in the western sections of the Dakotas or into Nebraska, you'll actually see the warm up earlier, and you'll maybe even get up to the 50s with this upcoming cold, or this upcoming warmth. All right, but yeah, I think we're gonna see on and off cold. All right, especially when the sun goes down, obviously. All right, but it's only gonna be these first 3 days coming up: today, tomorrow, and then Monday. I think that's when we're gonna be in the extreme cold. Then we're gonna start to see that warmth, or at least the just the less extreme cold start to return. All right, so we got a big winter storm coming up. All right, so what is our fourth one in just a little over 7 days, like 10 days. It's pretty incredible and just crazy that how supportive this pattern that we were in was for mega snowstorms, and that's what we saw. All right, basically that's exactly what we saw. But we got another system coming up. I want to tell you guys, this is not going to be as a significant storm. All right, because a lot of you are going to think that I'm probably saying that because it's not going to bring a lot of snow. I think it's going to be a very significant storm, but I just said exactly what I said. So yeah, I'm sorry that didn't make sense. I meant to say this isn't going to be a crazy storm like the blizzard that we saw just like about a week ago. All right, but it's definitely going to be an impactful system, and we have to talk about that. So, all right, that's how I'm gonna put it. All right, but we're not gonna see that much snow with the system, and I'll show you guys why in a second. All right, so notice we'll start at here. This is Monday, at 7 p.m. So this is late Monday, or sorry, this is Sunday night. Apologize. All right, so this is tomorrow night. And you're starting to see a little bit of rainfall starting to come up from southern Texas here, the Gulf Coast of Texas. But notice how you've got these isobars that are moving up towards Texas. That's the moisture stream here. You're going to see a lot of moisture become built into the atmosphere here, right? Just over Texas and the southern plains. That's going to generate that first round of heavy rainfall, and we see that getting into the rest of tomorrow. This rainfall just continues to get a little bit more intense. Just some showers. You got a low that could take. It's in the position that it could take this storm on its own, but it's located over central Colorado with more energy on the backside. That's a pretty favorable setup here for our system, and we get into tomorrow into Monday here, and that's when we can start to see this freezing rain. This is going to be the main issue, guys. No doubt about it. For northern Texas, in between the border of Oklahoma, and you may be wondering why the heck are we seeing freezing rain if we're way behind the warm front here? Well, it's because there's cold air aloft. There's cold air built into the atmosphere, built into the system, and you'll probably still will be cold. And we could look at the temperatures here. Sorry, let me get to our temperatures. Here we go. All right, yeah, we're still in the 30s. All right, that warm air. I mean, the warm air is getting to us. All right, but we're definitely not. We're not too we're not warm enough to stay as regular normal rainfall. All right, so we'll go back here to our precipitation map. Freezing rain. What happens is um you have basically you have just regular rain in the atmosphere, and then it starts to fall. But the atmosphere is very very cold. There's cold air aloft. All right, so that the rainfall freezes as freezing rain. Then about midway through, um, about midway down from the atmosphere and the ground level, there's a boundary of warm air. All right, and as the rain falls into that warm air, it melts. All right, and then that's going to be what's happening as it hits the ground. But once it hits the ground, it freezes instantly because the ground is so cold. That's basically what is happening here with the freezer rain. I apologize if I didn't explain that in the best way. Um, all right, but yeah, that's kind of the concept that we're talking about here. But this is midnight tomorrow night into Monday. You're starting to see more freezing rain enter portions of northern Texas, southern Oklahoma. This continues with thunderstorms on the backside of this, or sorry, on the front side. Um, I doubt that these will be severe. Some of these may be loud with loud thunder, maybe some lightning, maybe even some lightning strikes in some areas. For southern Texas, like San Antonio, might even end up getting hit by a thunderstorm or two. But look how intense that freezing rain is. All right, in Oklahoma might end up being the hardest hit state from this freezing rain from the system. But you see these tiny pockets of like very bright orange and red. All right, that is very heavy freezing rain. It's going to be basically downpouring. All right, but all of that rainwater is freezing. All right, that's how significant the system may be, and this continues, and we see this persist now, growing. Basically a shield of rain and ice on the north side of this, entering portions of northern and central Arkansas by 9 a.m. Monday. All right, southern sections of Missouri, portions of eastern Oklahoma. This is just going to continue throughout the day, and then this will actually enter St. Louis as a freezing rain event. All right, but now we're getting into mid afternoon Monday, and we just have a nice a solid band here of freezing rain that's going through northern sections of Arkansas, portions of Missouri, and then into eventually central and western portions of Illinois. So, I would definitely watch out for this. This is going to prompt ice storm warnings, I'm sure. All right, but we've got a lot of rainfall on the backside. This will come in as freezing rain. Notice how this comes in as freezing rain for everybody that's just north of really Texas and Louisiana. This will come in as freezing rain, but it changes to rainfall because that warm air is pumping up into the system. All right. So eventually we'll see rain take over, all right, for portions of eastern Texas into um, northeastern Arkansas. Now, it may still be cold enough on the ground level for that to freeze, and there may be freezing rain, but I think it's just because this moisture is going to be starting to surge up into the system a little bit more intensely, or just a little bit more intense. That's going to lead for higher temperatures, and that's just not going to be favorable for any ice accumulations furthermore, or any freezing rain. But it'll definitely start to uh, enter areas farther north into Illinois. Now we can see central Illinois starting out as freezing rain, and then you can even see areas down by the Boot Heel of Missouri. By 3 p.m. Monday, we still are hanging on to freezing rain, but that just changes over to rainfall before this ice storm moves up into the upper Midwest, and then that system, it's starting to move out, but we just see rounds of moisture starting to come in. We see even more heavy rainfall entering the deep south. This is going to be a big issue, guys. I'm worrying about flash flooding in this area. We're going to be talking about that in a bit. But just look at this. Look at all that heavy rainfall. It's going to be continuously. The Gulf of Mexico is continuously going to be pumping moisture into the system. It's going to be feeding it as the system continues to persist across the eastern United States. I think that if we didn't have that much Gulf moisture around, the system would not be nearly as significant as it will be. All right, because it's bringing cold, dry air with it. All right, but when you see that warm air and that moisture influence the system, it just becomes amplified, and that's what we see here with a major ice storm and a rainstorm for the deep south and eventually the Midwest. All right, so now we look at the north central United States. What's going to be happening with you guys? Well, we'll take this out to when the system comes in, and here it is. All right, notice how I am actually looking at 3 kilometer model. But notice how you actually do have a lot of snow on the north side. You've got a big winter storm moving through Canada, so there's a lot of cold air nearby. We know that. All right, but that is crazy how much snow's up there. I actually just noticed this. So basically, what this means is that you're going to see the storm enter an environment that's supportive of snow, and just cold temperatures, and we actually see maybe some lake effect snow, some sleet starting to enter portions of western Michigan. That's nothing to worry about. That's just some prefrontal energy or something. I'm not sure, but that's going to be entering by 11 a.m. Tomorrow. All right, or sorry, this would be 11 a.m. on Monday. All right, and so now we'll take this out to about 6 p.m. So around dinner time on Monday, and this is going to start bringing some freezing rain into um, northern sections of Illinois, into southern sections of oh, I'm blanking out, guys. I apologize. Of Michigan. All right. And then this is going to be continuing through the late evening hours of Monday, and then by Monday night, this is going to change over to some light rainfall for most of us. But you can see this may stay as all freezing rain from northern sections of Ohio, southern sections of Arkansas. That's interesting to watch for. I think that if you see less rainfall and more freezing rain, that's where you could actually see the highest totals or for those ice accumulations. All right. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of energy packed in the system. And if you notice, all this northern stream energy, or all that snowfall that's just north up into Canada, that's actually all moving with the system. And you can see it's moving with the system, just with that low that's going to be popping off down there in the deep south. All right. So yeah, it's going to be your system outlook based off of what of our current model guidance today. And if you look at the 12-kilometer model to go out the full length of the system, the 12-kilometer model is actually showing some snow. I think it couldn't be ruled out. Some snow for central sections of Michigan, and then maybe even to southeastern Wisconsin. But that moves out, and then you will definitely see that second that second round of rainfall as we get into Tuesday into Wednesday. All right. So we now look at ice accumulations. This is going to be a big problem. I kind of explained it earlier how we're going to see freezing rain. Well, here it is. And you can see we could near maybe half an inch of ice. All right between Texas and Oklahoma. That is significant ice. But we're talking about around 0.40 inches of ice, so about four tenths of an inch of ice. That's definitely possible. But if you are in this purple shade that's darker than this like reddish orange shade, all right, this is where you're talking about over a quarter of an inch of ice, and then some of us will near half an inch of ice. Same thing into areas towards the panhandle of Oklahoma. We may be dealing with right around half an inch of ice, even in northern Texas. Quarter of an inch of ice. Same thing for the areas just to the west of the DFW area. But yeah, everybody that's in this, this orange pinkish shade here, that's where we could be right around, a quarter of an inch of ice. That is significant. That's enough to cause isolated power outages. But if you are over a quarter of an inch of ice, get ready, gear up for widespread power outages. You're going to be left in the cold, left in the dark. It's not going to be a good scene, and major travel disruptions. Please stay off those roadways Monday and Tuesday, guys. It's going to be so incredibly dangerous. There will be black ice on those roadways, and you want to avoid pileups as much as possible, because the photos, the videos that you see, it's just horrific, and it's terrible. All right, but if you're in the northern Arkansas, half an inch of ice is possible right here. Actually, flashed a half an inch of ice for a second, but that'll continue into northern Arkansas, where we see that signal for half an inch of ice. Then into Missouri, southern Missouri, it looks like right around anywhere from 1/10 of an inch of ice to 3/10 of an inch of ice. But you can see into St. Louis, we're going for about a quarter of an inch of ice, but areas to the north and west may actually end up with a little bit more. And now you see the widespread ice accumulations into Illinois, but I think that it's not going to be as significant as down here in Oklahoma. The NAM was really screaming at that band of freezing rain that was going to be moving through Oklahoma. We saw how intense that got. Well, I think that's what we see with the signal for up to half an inch of ice in this entire shade. All right, so we move on to the upper Midwest here. All right, let's take this out to 84 hours. All right, you can see in the northern sections of Illinois, we still will be talking about a tenth to 2/10 of an inch of ice. All right, you can see into portions of southern Michigan here. We could be talking about I would say 1 to 3/10 of an inch of ice, but you get the idea. I would say I'll circle the area. All right, but anybody inside of this area, you got to stay off those roadways. Expect power outages. All right, and if you are going for over a quarter of an inch of ice, please get ready, guys. It's going to be intense. This is one of those bad ice storms, but it's going to be. I think the focus is definitely going to be down here into Texas, Oklahoma, and then into Missouri. All right. So we look at current rainfall expectations or totals on the system. We'll zoom in here just a little bit. I don't know if we can actually. Yeah, we can't. All right. But you can see anywhere in this red shade. All right, we're talking about 4, 5, maybe even 6 inches of rain. That we're talking about tons and tons of rainfall, guys, for eastern Texas, portions of Louisiana. If you're dealing with over 4 inches of rain, that is incredible. This is going to lead to big time flash flooding. So please be safe out there, guys. This is very concerning map that we're seeing here, but and this is also posted by the National Weather Service. So these are the professionals, and this is their forecast. Maybe even for those areas that will be changing from freezing rain to steady rainfall, we'll still be talking about 1 to 2 inches, maybe even 3 inches up towards sections of southern Illinois, portions of southern Missouri. All right, but it's really down here in the deep south. I'll circle the area, but you can tell it's extending from central and southern sections of Arkansas down to eastern Texas, all of Louisiana, and then southwestern Mississippi. This is an area I'm watching for. very, very significant flash flooding, very intense flash flooding, and it's something that you don't want to see. All right, it's just that sudden pump of moisture into the system that's going to be just unloading a lot of rainfall. And luckily, we're going to be escaping severe weather, but this time it's just going to be very, very heavy rainfall. All right, so for the last part of the update, I just want to take a look here at the latest GFS model run. Take a look at what we could expect going forward into the rest of January. We're getting towards February a little bit. I can't believe we're already a few months in winter. All right, but here we are. So there comes that first system, and then it's going to be moving out. But there's a second piece of energy coming down behind it, and then that's what's going to be just helping this system that we're dealing with grow its second piece of energy, second round of rainfall. All right, what happens after that? Well, we see a little bit of a dip in the jet stream there, and a little bit of a low starting to form. Now, I've been tracking a few systems that could end up, moving across the eastern U.S., but we see a weak 1,010 millibar low bringing all rainfall to the deep south. What does that do? Well, it's trying to become a dynamic system. You can see it's trying to take on that negatively tilted low. It's trying to pull in cold air from Canada, and we don't see any snowstorm until we get until the system gets to the northeast. And I've been watching a signal for the past 2 days or 3 days or so of a possible snowstorm in the northeast. And right now we're in the midway term, or I should say we're in the short to medium term range here. So if you want to put it that, I don't know. But so we can't get into a forecast, obviously, but we can definitely talk about a pretty significant signal for a big system in the northeast that would bring a lot of snow for the interior northeast and a lot of rainfall on the coastline. All right, that moves out. What happens behind it? Well, we see a clipper move across the Great Lakes. And there's nothing else that's really too significant that I'm watching other than that first system in the northeast. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But we do get a few systems. I've been watching a signal for a few systems into February here, but we're very far out. We're over 300 hours out. But yes, we do get a few systems that try and take shape there in the United States. And also, we have no idea if this is going to be happening or not, but I just wanted to show you guys this. Look how strong the system coming in to the Pacific Northwest. This would be February 2nd. This is way too far out. This is not going to happen. I don't want to scare anybody. But if that were to happen, that would be a very strong system. Just wanted to point that out. All right. So that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for coming to watch. I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, so we'll keep watching what's going to be happening into January, but stay safe out there with that winter storm coming up, with that ice storm. All right, I didn't mean to scare you guys. Just want to make sure that everybody's prepared, everybody's taking this seriously, because it's going to be such an impactful event. All right, thank you all for the recent support. 500 subscribers, guys. I'm sorry for not making an appreciation video. I will promise to do so once I get the time to. All right. But yeah, that's it. All right. And as always, I'll keep you guys posted on whatever happens weather-wise across the country, and I'll see you guys in the next video. So thank you all for coming to watch.